Hello, welcome back to another video on astrology. In this video, we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. When astrologers get into timing the birth of children, whenever it is a Cesarean section, we are today going to discuss whether this practice is good, bad, or it is against the theory of karma. So we have students as participants, and we are going to let everyone say a few, points about, whichever side they represent. So, Mr. Manoj, is everybody in?
There are 21 participants, sir, but we had totally 40 enrollments.
So, sir, my name is Soundar. I'm from Chennai.
Okay.
So the debate is about emerging topic that popped up when a C-section date, fixing a date for a C-section was discussed in our group, right? So
okay, so that is we have a students group, a very active group, which is the latest batch, and they started. I think somebody started talking about Cesarean, right? I don't know how it started, but a lot more people got into it.
And probably help you on that, sir.
Okay.
It was you saying Vinod to probably one came for a C-section.
Right.
Exactly. One of my clients asked me, and I said, "Sorry, I can't do it." Not because of. We'll debate on that. Why did I not accept to do it? Okay, that's something else. Okay, that's how it started, I think, right? So then I asked one of our students, Mr. Vinod, to help the client, because most of my students from the first batch have picked up a lot of astrology, and Vinod is doing a lot of research. So I thought he might be at present the best candidate, though there are so many other students as good as him in the batch. But that's how it started, I think, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. So my view is, so we have to understand the role of astrology here. So the role of astrologer in terms of telling the C-section date is not a decider, it is a predictor. So we are predicting a date. We are not a decider whether it will happen or not.
Right. You're saying the astrologer only says when is it good, but we are not still sure about it because it may not happen at that time. Is that what you're trying to say?
It is not sure. I'm not deciding whether it will happen or not.
Okay, but there is a possibility it can be done at exactly the time that the astrologer had wanted the baby to be born, right? So the debate is all about, is the astrologer getting in the way? Is he creating maybe another situation, maybe not part of the regular karma theory where children take birth in accordance to their karma? So that's the basis of astrology, right?
The karma is fixed, sir. So my view, karma is fixed, and it is getting predicted through me. An astrologer.
Oh, what you're saying is the karma is already fixed, which means the baby will be born only at the time that it should be born,
right.
And then the astrologer actually plays along with it. He just it looks as though he's controlling it, but he's not really controlling it, right?
Right.
So he is forced to tell that particular time. Okay, let's see if everybody has the same opinion. Okay, but this is not the only view. You could look at it from several other points. Not necessarily the one which we started. Okay, we can go on. So let's start with Dhilip, Kumar, R. Yeah.
Good evening, Guruji. My opinion I want to discuss. See, when I kept Muhurat for my second childbirth.
Okay.
So it was not happened because the child was born in advance. 12 hours before itself.
What really happened? There was a medical situation.
Yeah, medical situation. There was an emergency. We supposed to go and.
So you could not
in advance itself.
Okay, so now you're saying that whatever my baby was supposed to be born at that particular time, it naturally happened in spite of an effort to change it, right?
Yes.
This kind of supports the earlier view, right? Yes, Bhavana.
Sir, I have another point which I think supports the first two speakers.
Okay.
At the most, an astrologer can fix the lagna and the moon.
Okay.
If you're looking at carrying the baby almost to full term, you don't have much of a time gap, a window to play with. And the major planets cannot be really changed. It's only the Lagna and Moon at the most that you can try to, like he said, predict which would be the best position.
Well, I think let me rephrase it in case what you're saying is the child was conceived in let's say in a particular year and a month, and then from there on you have a the child is expected to be born let's say in 10 months. Okay, so around that time what you're saying is Jupiter is already predictable, where it is. It will be only there. Saturn
Yes.
only be there, and you're saying everybody else is there. And what most probably the only thing that we could change by intervention of an astrologer is, okay, I can find out which day he's going to. He can change the moon's position, right? Maybe this nakshatra, maybe that nakshatra, and maybe this rashi, and he can change the ascendant. Actually,
Exactly. Yes.
Okay,
sir,
good,
because
good. So
Ideally,
what you're
a
saying is-
child would be born between 36 weeks and 40 weeks. So that's
Oh.
just a 4-week window. Yes, you cannot really change much of it. You
Oh,
only
that's
have
your
two-
point. Okay.
You only
Okay.
have 2 variables at the most, maybe the faster planets.
Okay. So, so Bhavana is saying that, okay, given these background situations, within that the astrologer can play a little bit around. Is that correct?
Yes, you cannot majorly meddle with karma. You can only try to get the best possible outcome out of maybe a bad situation or a good
But
one.
Bhavana, if you look at the Lagna, the powerful Lagna from which,
That's the key.
yeah, because if you shift the Lagna slightly, you get many planets badly
Yes.
placed. And if you just shift it 2 hours, you delay the birth by 2 hours and you get into the next Lagna, the
Yes, sir.
ascendant, you get a totally kaleidoscopic change in the horoscope. So doesn't that give a great advantage?
It does give.
Yeah, we'll consider that also. But anyway,
But it's not
thanks.
playing God to the extreme.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Vishweshwaran Natraj.
Yes, sir. Thank you for. Thank you, sir. Sir, I am from Bangalore. I am part of the group and have been through the classes. So the question here arises few pertinent points. One, the question raised was also whether it was ethical on the part of the astrologer to determine the time. That is one point also which is there. So my view is that, let us say a scenario where there is not a normal delivery and there is a C-section, and definitely why not the parents go and consult an astrologer, as the previous participant had said that it is not possible to change all the planets, but an auspicious time can be chosen. Yeah,
Okay.
that is one point. Second, I also want to place before that Ravana in Ramayana we have heard about the story of Ravana, wherein he wanted to ensure that all the planets for his birth of the son of Indrajit are placed in one house, so that he gets everything like the health, wealth, or whatever. He's extremely powerful, but unfortunately Sunny sneaked out of the house. That was one story of Indrajit, Meghnath,
Okay.
actually.
I think we can, in the modern world, we can rephrase that last line when Saturn sneaked out from the 11th into the 12th house. Is basically the time got adjusted in such a way that in the Baba chart, the planet shifted.
Possible, yeah.
So
Correct,
he was
correct.
actually,
That
it is actually mentioning the Baba chart because Saturn cannot move so fast. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a very slow graha. Anyway, good point. Okay.
So my point here is that, however much we might try as an astrologer or even a parent, see, the intention of the parent also should be there, that they also have to know that they cannot change the fate of the newborn entirely. They might at best look at a auspicious time. That is the best they can do. And astrologer's true intention is also that way. So from an ethicality point of view, it is very apt. I don't think there is wrong by an astrologer to suggest a auspicious time. That is one point here. And why not try to choose the time from a parent's point of view also. So that's my view,
Okay.
sir.
Now, Dr. Nirmala.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. So I am going to be talking that C-section should not be timed, and my arguments come purely from physician-patient interactions.
You're talking about, now there are two aspects to this. One is the Cesarean itself is the issue, because we want only natural birth. Is that one of the points?
No. I'm not saying C-section is the issue.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you as scenario. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
just picture this. So
Okay.
I have a patient, Sita, who has been told by her astrologer that 1 a.m. midnight is the appropriate good time for birth. And
Okay.
I have 3 nurses, 3 doctors, and 5 assistants who are coming in at 12 o'clock to attend to this C-section. The
Okay.
3 doctors are obstetrician, anesthesiologist, and pediatrician, and 3 nurses to help them, and 5 assistants.
Okay.
So we are just about to brush up and start. And then I have another patient, Sandhya, who was admitted 1 hour ago for normal delivery.
Okay.
But it didn't go as planned because the baby's heart rate dropped.
Okay.
And all my doctors at 1 a.m. are ready to start with Sita, because
Okay.
we want to deliver her baby on the appropriate time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now the Sandhya's family is very poor,
Oh,
and the heart rate is dropping. Now Sandhya's husband and family are waiting for the C-section, and Sita's husband and family are ready to pay lakhs and lakhs of rupees to get the baby out at the time the astrologer predicted.
Or wanted.
Now, so the question is, if Sandhya's life becomes critical, who is responsible for that? And at
Okay.
1 o'clock in the night, I cannot bring 3 more doctors. So
Okay.
who is responsible for this situation for poor Sandhya? If something gets delayed in her delivery, is astrology to be blamed for this case? And is
Okay.
it fair for Sandhya to suffer because of Sita's astrologer?
Or her faith in astrology and so many
That's
other
my
reasons.
scenario.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good, doctor. You have given a lot of valid points, but it also leads us to other situations about the safety of the mother and that, I mean, the safety of the baby versus the role of the astrologer and his recommendation, right? So we are entering a new scenario
Correct.
where it's not just about the discussion, the debate, though it is simply about are we meddling with karma? That was the basis for the entire the debate. But now we are coming to a new, from a new perspective, like we see that there is danger to life itself in this situation. And so you have made, as a doctor, you have done your role, I think. Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, doctor. Nikarika.
Good evening, sir, and good evening to everybody. So my point here is, there's always a Rahu Ketu in everybody's chart, and it
Okay.
is going to be aspecting.
Okay.
And there are many other planets, some malefics also aspecting other houses. So we
Okay.
can't really say that this baby's life is going to be Jingalala when it's going to be born at that particular auspicious time. That we can't really give 100% guarantee. The child is going to go through certain ups and downs as
Okay.
everybody else. So that's my point of view at the moment.
Okay. This is another new viewpoint. What you're saying is you put the lagna anywhere, still the horoscope has many faults, right? This is another point.
Nobody's horoscope is 100% amazing.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what. So you would say if I place the lagna here and then I got maybe beautiful 9th or the 10th exalted book, okay, that was great. But then at the same time I lost something else. Somewhere else a planet is badly placed. So I had for this I lost there. Okay, that's what you're trying to say.
Exactly. And then that dasha period runs when that planet
the person will go through trouble. Okay.
Yes, that's there for sure. So you can't completely eliminate.
The one major standpoint is that the astrologer is capable of meddling with karma. That is one big point that we are going to discuss today. Okay. And then the other sections, we have many things like safety, like what Dr. Nirmala said, and, your viewpoint and what Bhavna said, and, all the earlier participants said about various, the views we'll definitely, we'll consider that. But please do not forget that one of the main agenda in this meeting is that we are saying there is something called karma, and then the baby is supposed to go through certain things, and that's why it was about to take birth, and then the astrologer got inside and messed up with that plan. So that is the major, one of the most important thing that we are going to discuss. But on the side, we get to know a lot more things. For example, when we look at what Dr. Nirmala said, then we think maybe it's also sometimes could be dangerous also.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. It's
Yeah.
a very valid point. In her
Yeah.
case, I also felt now obviously that they will try to help the the normal delivery, because if any
Okay.
child or mom, especially if a mother dies
Mm.
while giving birth, it's going to be a legal case on the hospital.
Okay.
It's going to come on the treating doctor's head. So the doctor
Okay.
has to be vigilant in these cases.
Okay.
Or else she has to tell the person who's ready to pay lakhs for conducting the C-section at that particular point, saying, you get us more doctors, more manpower, so that we can get it sorted. Because I'm
Okay.
sure there'll be an OT,
Okay.
and if there's a scenario where all the OTs are full, but C-sections are always planned, so the OT booking also is done accordingly.
Okay.
So that probably would be the case. It's like all last minute.
Okay. So Nikarika, what profession are you in?
I'm a general physician, turned in the OG department. So
Okay.
I've come across a few cases like this.
Okay.
And in the hospital that I worked in, they did not uh, embrace planned
Okay.
timings. That
Okay.
was
Okay.
the hospital
Okay.
that I worked in. They did not embrace as much as possible. They will say, we will try, but somewhere here and there will be a delay, something here and there. So I've not seen many happening at the exact timing mentioned by the parents.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. So
Thank you, sir.
yeah, we'll keep all this in mind. And anyway, this will be on YouTube, so we're going to get more comments. Maybe we can do a part 2 of this later on. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Thank you, Karthikeyan. Role number 18. Yeah.
Good evening, sir, and good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Sir, I feel that the karma is playing a major role in a child's birth. And even though the astrologer fixes the time, it seems something like an puppet show. Overall, it was like a puppet show. For the viewers, as it seems to be, the puppets are making the whole show. It is a man who holds the ropes of the puppets. So
Okay.
I feel the karma is the main thing, which makes the astrologer to fix the time. And most of the cases, when we make an case study, we first we take the chart of Lord Rama, and no one can say it is a very perfect chart, and there is no ups and downs in Lord Rama. As the doctor who spoke previous to me told, I too stand on their words. There is
Okay.
no chart or no time which can fix a person's life very, very jolly, very happy throughout from his birth to his death.
Okay.
So,
There is no ideal. There is no ideal horoscope. So surely there will be major faults, but as revealed in the case of even Lord Rama's life, right? That's what you're saying. Okay.
yes, sir. Whenever we
Yeah.
take a case study for any of the celebrities or anybody, we come to know there are some ups and there are many downs too.
Okay. But okay,
So-
we will take your point. But what we are trying to say is, even then, there was an alteration in the baby's, the person's karma, right? There was an interference. So why? The question is whether we leave it in the way it should have been, or is it unethical to interfere with that? Apart
Sir,
from the fact that anyway human beings are going to go through suffering.
So the main purpose of making the alteration is to make the life peaceful, happy, and whatever we expect. But at the end
Okay.
of the life, it is not going to be as per our expectation. There is going to be some ups and there is going to be some downs. Then what is the use of making those alterations?
What if the astrologer says this could be better than that? For example,
I
maybe
personally
this is
think-
the actual fate, but then this is a better thing, better situation than the other one. At least this is a lot better in comparison.
Sir, as a layman, we can think like that. But when we see many cases or many horoscopes, we come to know there is not much of thing to do with fixing the time. This is my personal opinion.
Okay.
And
fine.
I have my own case. My kid, my doctor said there are more chances of normal delivery for your wife, and you can fix the time somewhere around this date. And we took an advice of a local astrologer, but we were very much stubborn with a normal delivery, and the time which we expected was not happening there, and
Okay.
we just let it happen when and we were standing for the normal delivery. And the
Okay.
doctor
Okay.
also was much supporting for us, and he was not interested in that C-section.
Good. Good. You have given us some valid points to think about. Thank you, Manoj.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Manoj.
Sir, I just wanted to provide my inputs. It's not that I'm going to say whether deciding or not is there, but the most common mistakes that takes place, when you're asked to give a date.
Okay.
So the thing is, we go to an astrologer and we ask him, like, which is the best time. So what the astrologer or so-called astrologer, I don't want to blame anybody in specific. What they do is they try to find a lagna where we don't find most of the planets in the bad houses.
Okay. So that's one simple method. Okay. Maybe.
So that.
Oh, okay.
That is what he gives. Okay. But in reality, what an astrologer should have done over here is he should have also analyzed the parents' chart there, the mother's chart and the father's chart, and see all the possibilities and then come up with a date. Because in one real scenario, I have my another Guruji, who's almost 78 years old, but he was going. They were conducting the 9th month festival for the kid, right? But his father, who was also an astrologer, he told him, "This guy is never going to be a dad. How is it? What is the point is doing this function?" And till date, he never had a kid. The kid was born still.
Oh, stillborn child.
Because the parents chart never supported them for a kid. So when an astrologer is predicting the date, he should take everything into consideration, just not the timing of the kid alone. It has to be the parents' mother's chart, the father's chart, compare it and see what is the possibility. And for sure, those chart would reveal a better timing than what the astrologer is giving. It can be either preponed or it could be postponed also.
So you have now brought in a new dimension that while giving the time of birth for a child, the child's birth time, we have to also consider the parents' chart. Okay, we'll definitely keep that in mind. Yeah. See, but now for all the other participants who are going to speak after Manoj, what I'm going to say is, let's focus more on what about karma. What is actually happening here? There was something that has to happen because this was a natural way. This child has to be born somewhere without interference from anybody, and then there is a human effort of altering. So that is the actual topic. Now, what really happens to the soul? Okay, so let's discuss that more. Maybe we will take in all these points. So by the time this is completed, we will have almost everything, every point related to this topic. Okay, because each one is giving different views also. Good. Thank you, Manoj. Avinash.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity, sir. Sir, I have 2 points. The first point is, right, I just want to follow up on just what you said. So, sir, based on my knowledge and my inputs, what I read, so there is no karma involved. A soul taking birth is already predestined by his prarabdha karma from his past lifetimes. It is very clearly in the scriptures that the prarabdha karma is already destined. It is like in some of the, like we had this discussion, like Narendra Modi, when he was taken birth, there would have been definitely a lot of souls taking birth at the same time. Then why would not all the people become famous like Narendra Modi? What I mean to say is, sir, the prarabdha karma is destined. You can take help of people. Yes, an auspicious date and so on. Same thing happens with marriage rituals or anything. But that doesn't mean that you should not take. So there is 2 things to it. As from a practical point of view, listening to the medical practitioners, what I say is, yes, the people who listen to the astrologers get complete faith in it and they start to pressure the hospital.
Okay. Put pressure on the doctors.
Yes. So that should not happen, because the practical aspect has to be also be considered. In scriptures, it is also written before even the time of birth, the conceivement is also plays a huge role. For example, I mean, we all know this KPC, sir. Even though you may have a lot of extremely good planets and position, everything. I mean, the KPC, the consummation during Amavasya.
Okay.
So that is an inauspicious thing, and some other things like in the Garbhadana Samskara. So yeah, this is my second point, little bit away, but I just want to.
No. Okay. Are you a doctor by profession?
No, sir. I'm a scientist, sir. So yeah.
Okay, scientist. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Medical background. Okay. Who's next is Vandana.
Good evening, sir. I want to quickly share my story. So I was supposed to give birth, C-section, at 7:15 a.m. in Bombay.
What was this based upon?
Well, it was just because I had this transverse and I couldn't have a normal delivery. So I had to give, so the doctor called me in at 7:15 in the morning. For the time was fixed by the doctor and the hospital for 7:15 in the morning. At 7:10, I had this very uncomfortable feeling. So I called an astrologer in Chennai and I said, my husband called and said, look, she's going in. He said, no, she cannot go in now. She cannot go in before 8:15. And we requested the doctor. They took other people in and I went in at 8:15.
Okay.
Thanks to the astrologer. And at 8:15, child was born normal, but I hemorrhaged hugely. They said I had flatlined. They said she's sinking, she's flatlined. And then 5 minutes later, I was supposedly alive. I don't remember anything.
Thank
but
God.
I remember it I remember it very clearly as no, I'm not flatlining. I'm very much here.
Okay.
So that's how I remember it. But medically, because I'd hemorrhaged, and just before me, my friend had passed away with the same complication in the same hospital, and a very famous Bollywood actress also passed away in the same hospital with the same childbirth complication.
And was it all because of an astrologer's interference?
I believe that because he told me don't go in. It was 5 minutes before I was being wheeled in, and he said, no, she can't go in. She can't go in before 8:15. That's all he said. And I just believed it at that time. And I just, I had never done this before, but I believed it then. And I told the doctor, no, I'm not coming in. And they listened to me. And I do believe that even though, whatever, I was a miracle thing because I survived. So,
Okay. So from your point of view, it was the astrologer who saved you.
Saved me and saved my kid and my kid.
Okay, good.
My kid.
So that's your experience. Thank you, Vandana, for sharing especially a personal experience from your own life. Okay, thank you. Now next is Jayashree from Singapore or Malaysia. I don't remember. Malaysia, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, good evening. I'm from KL, Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur.
Now yes, sir. Now I have the case of an autistic child whose birth was predetermined by a very famous astrologer.
Okay.
Now this is an experience from a friend. She had a very normal pregnancy, a full-term pregnancy, and towards the end of it, due to some medical reasons, she had to go to a cesarean.
Okay.
So then they had to consult an astrologer who helped choose an appropriate time for the delivery of the child.
Okay.
Now all went well initially. The child was healthy. The child apparently also has a very good horoscope. Now after a few months, they learned that, to the parents' horror, that this child was autistic.
Okay.
Ever since then, it has brought tremendous grief to the parents. Now you could also say this is the karma of the parents, that they had this child, autistic child, and they have to go through this for the rest of their lives. My question is, so did the astrologer's intervention make any difference to the child or the parent?
But if you look into the parents' horoscope and if you see maybe one of their fifth house is severely afflicted, all the factors that are connected to the fifth house, maybe they got a fifth lord in, you fulfill all the rules for, some serious, what they call putra dosha, the blemish on the house of children or the children factors. Now, just for a moment, you pause there and think just we remove astrologers for the time being, and how are autistic children born? Okay. So in the whole world, there'll be, I don't know how many would be there, but it all happens all the time across human civilization. We had birth of autistic children, maybe dyslexia, and so many other, in fact, mental illness of many various kinds, both physical and mental. All of this is not basically, at least you can't hold if astrologers as a reason, but in this case it definitely has a connection with an astrologer. Okay, we will definitely, this is this is the actual point that we are discussing today. This is the debate. Okay, thanks for giving us this input. Yeah, next is Vinod.
Hi, sir.
Yes, Vinod. Is it all right, Vinod? You are in a very nice situation, in somewhere sleeping, I don't know, trying to sleep or something. It's going to be displayed on YouTube. You want to remove it and then talk. I can edit this. You're all right.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine, sir. I mean, what to do?
Yeah, this discussion started because of you. So, okay, it's good to see you like this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, I just have a mixed opinion on this because, or rather, a neutral opinion on this because, first of all, like if we take some common parameters that astrologers use to narrow down on a proper muhurta, right? Like no planets in 6, 8, 12. Let us take for that for instance. Okay. So we take the horoscope of Amitabh Bachchan. He had 4. I believe he has 4 planets in the 8th house. So just going by the fact that there should be no planets in the 8th house, I mean, in the Dushtana 6, 8, 12, that does not really mean that someone, or rather we could even come up with a case where there were benefics in Kendras and still there was Balarishta. Okay. So I don't think at least at my level, we are quite intelligent enough to keep in mind all the factors and then change the destiny of the person. But it is just up to people's, it's just their prerogative. If people feel that it's all a matter of belief. If people feel that something can be changed by this, I think it's fine with going with this. But so
Vinod, I got your point. See, now what you're saying is it's not so. Okay, now you're bringing in another viewpoint here that, okay, there is something that we could do in, selecting the time of birth, but then who's going to select? Is it astrologer A, B, or C? And then C doesn't know much about it. So this is a new dimension. Okay, that is, you're saying that how sure are we whether this horoscope is better or has got good points? Like
exactly.
you quoted on Amitabh Bachchan's life, and of course the 8th house planets did play a big role in his life because he had an accident while he was injured while on the shooting, and then tons of blood transfusion had to happen, and he was infected with I think hepatitis. I don't know what kinds, maybe C, I think. I'm not sure, but he battled with it for a long time. So the 8th house role did play, it did play. But the thing is, suppose you go to an astrologer and you are saying that simply by avoiding planets in 6, 8, and 12, is that enough? But there are many layers to this. For example, to how much ever you know about it. For example, Maharishi Parashara says one should, a child born in the nakshatra of father or mother. Okay, that is it comes under inauspicious. Born in the star of brother or sister. So, okay, simple things. Don't choose this date. Choose that date or something like that. Okay. So, to the extent that the astrologer knows, he makes it better and better. But this is one part of the debate. The other part is what really happens to the karma. That's the more interesting part. I thought all of you would talk about that. Okay. But Vinod, you took a neutral stance, right? Because you were looking at it that it has a lot of face to this argument, like multifaceted. So you're saying maybe this, maybe that, and maybe sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad. Okay, that's the angle.
I think it's like so some people mention that by if someone is having the affordability to pay money, and that could probably cost the life of a poor person who is. So I mean, we can apply the analogy even to the case of someone who is quite poor may not be able to afford a taxi to go to the hospital. compared to someone who can, pay money for, you can travel luxuriously in a car and all that. So, these are all small things which we don't have control over. So I don't think that should be a big botheration. We are just trying to do what we can in our, capability or stuff like that. And also that doesn't mean like we can alter it completely, because Bhavana said, right, like for example, let us take in a particular year, Jupiter and Saturn are in a planetary war. Okay, so no matter what we do, it is still going. It is still going to afflict the Karaka of children, Jupiter, and that is still going to have a big role to play. So so it's like, there is some portion left to our free will. We can do it. So I want to take a neutral stand and say it is neither right nor wrong. We are just trying to do whatever best we can.
Okay.
And we are not giving any false promises to people by saying that, okay, you do the C-section at this time, your child will be Narendra Modi. We are not doing that. We are just trying to do whatever best we can.
Okay.
That's my...
Okay. That is assuming that Narendra Modi is having a happy life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Vinod, for that. Who is next after you? iPhone.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yes, sir. This is Haridas, sir. Actually, I just joined like that because my name was not there. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
For the inconvenience.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, thank you for conducting a very good program, sir. Just first of all, I congratulate you for this kind of discussion. Normally, I'm a listener always. I never come out with my ideas.
Yeah, it's time you come out.
Yeah, this time because this point was very much haunting me many times whenever I started astrology studies. Okay. So just I will quote a very small story. Actually, this story was with Ravan. Actually, I think you may be knowing in this Kerala astrology, this Guligan came through that concept actually.
Okay.
And Ravan was very powerful. He told all the planets to stand here and there so that Indrajit will born. Okay. So he made the best positional points, and now the gods created Guligan and made it 1 point. So whatever good qualities were with Indrajit born, he lost all those things because of the presence of Guligan. This story I heard from one of the astrologers from Kerala. I don't know how much it is correct. You can tell about that.
Okay.
So the point here is, sir, this much only, sir, we cannot change our fate.
Okay.
Because the birth is any soul is coming into this universe is with a lot of past karmas and other things. So if you do or adjust your birth timing with this thing, or it may not going to ultimately help. That is my feeling, sir, actually. And one more point, in my daughter's birth time, I was knowing that there is a good time where both Jupiter and Mars will get Rochaka Yoga and Hamsa Yoga. But I didn't select that time. It was missed by 5 minutes.
You mean the Lagna itself shifted, or was it a Bhava shift?
Lagna was come to Leo Lagna, but if it was in Cancer, Jupiter was
Karkadaga.
Karkadaga. If that Lagna was Cancer, then Mars was in Capricorn.
Okay.
With Moon. With Moon.
But during that time, were you aware of astrology?
Yeah, I was knowing about astrology. And I was knowing the timing also. This time I was calculated in my mind, but I never told the doctor to do that. Okay. Yeah, sir. So this, because I thought that if I do that now, because I know the astrology, if I do that, if something bad happens in the later time, then I will curse my own this thing. So it is better to give it to the hands of God. So
this is another situation where you're saying, I don't want to be responsible. Okay, don't hold me responsible. Yeah. Okay, so that's another attitude.
This point is very important, sir. This point is very important, actually, because at birth point time you are deciding, and you may not be 100% sure what will happen in life. That much confidence, I don't know how much we can give into that.
Okay, like for example, our ex-CM Miss Jayalalitha had a Hamsa Yoga and a Malavi Yoga in the same chart. But there were a lot more problems in the chart, right?
Yes,
so you're trying to say something on those lines, right? Okay.
Yes. So the dimensions of success will be very relative, no, sir, actually. Ultimately, what a person wants in life.
And especially when you're doing it for your own child, you definitely want to stay out of trouble, because if something goes wrong, your wife won't spare you after that.
Not only, sir, not only that, because we only feel immediately we
Okay,
also feel
okay.
the thing.
Yeah,
So it
okay,
is
good,
always
good.
better. Yeah, this,
So we have come up, I mean, this is another viewpoint, another perspective. So just getting very interesting, I think. I never expected so many points to come up in this discussion. Okay. Kashi Manikam.
Yeah, hi, everybody. See, basically, there are two things in this one. The first one is, suppose if we choose to debate on the time of birth before we could, really wait for the actual birth could happen, or the normal birth could happen, delivery could happen, then that is, playing with karma. Probably we are trying to change karma. But honestly, in the best of conscience, let us assume that we are waiting, or we decide that we will wait for, as usual, for a normal delivery.
Okay.
And in case the normal delivery doesn't happen, then there is a situation one has to save the child and the mother. So in that case, somebody has to decide the date or the time or whatever the C-section has to be done. In such a situation, either the hospital facilities or the doctor or the anesthetist, whoever is there, takes up the time, fixing up the time, and go ahead with the process or the procedure.
Okay.
And that time, why not an astrologer do that job, who is the only person who can really, give you some thought, a possible future for the child. In that case, it is not wrong, probably, to somebody to approach an astrologer and decide, or take the help of astrology and decide the timing of birth. So there we are, exercising free will to save the child and the mother. And definitely, of course, a few people had said that, they had seen stillbirths subsequent to, an astrologer deciding the date. But of course, that is again karma there, they had to exercise or go through that situation. As somebody pointed out, that the parents have their chart and 5 and 9 or so, they had malefics or aspects on that. So the choice between normal or cesarean is playing against fate or karma. But once the decision is made, then it is not wrong to. It is good to give good life and a good future to the child and save things there. That's my take.
So thank you, Kasi Manikam, for your inputs. Who else have we not done? Those who have finished, can you put down your hands?
Hello.
Yes, Priya.
Yes. Hello, sir. Hello, everybody. I just had one thought in mind that if a person goes to an astrologer to decide the date of birth, isn't that in itself karma? Is it not meant to be? Like, what if somebody just has a thought that I'm going to plan my birth and plan my child's birth or something? I think that there's something that karma comes in play that makes that person go. Is it itself something that is the higher power is making you do that, is choosing that way?
Okay.
Isn't that serving the
This
purpose
is
of it?
this is one of the most important points in this discussion. So you are now trying to say that, like so many other fated events in life, the very fact that one seeks out an astrologer for consultation to fix the time of birth itself could be part of karma, and if everything goes well, the child is born at the chosen time, and all this is actually karma. And it appears that the astrologer is actually playing with something, but he's not altering anything, but he's just playing along with the original karma. Okay, this is one of the major points that we will keep on one side. Okay, it is against this that the debate is on. Okay.
And sir, I just wanted to, because of my personal experience, I was born in Ganmul Nakshatra, right? So my grandfather himself is an astrologer, and I was born by C-section. Okay, so he already told my mom that by the time the baby will be born, it's gonna be like approximately that time. So my mom's she keeps on telling me every day, I wish your nanu would have done something to make you born in a better timing and avoid that gunmole, right? So then I said, then why didn't you do it? She says that my grandfather said that you should let the the law of nature takes its place, because even if you try to temper it, she's going to be born with her own karma. So I never got to understand more than this, because he's not there anymore. So that's my question to, it made me think that isn't this fate that, they knew it was going to be happening like this,
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. So what I'm thinking is, sir, if we try to choose by ourselves a time for a baby birth, it's like gambling. It's like more type of it's more like a gambling than what good happens. There are so many parameters to consider. Only a good astrologer, very good astrologer, can do that. Otherwise, we shouldn't interfere in those matters. Was my thought.
I think, are you talking on the same lines as Vinod when he said it all depends on the astrologer also, like how much you know? But is that the point, or are you saying the entire process is wrong?
No. If an astrologer is really very good, it's okay to take it.
Okay. Okay. So you're okay.
Even then, interfering in those matters, interfering into what God wants to do, we shouldn't. We should leave the things like that.
Definitely, we'll consider that. Okay. We have one more doctor. So, Avani, please let us know your views.
Okay, hello. So in science, there is a similar thing called designer babies, where we can choose beautiful eyes. Designer babies. Where a parent can choose beautiful eyes, nose of the children. The genes linked to the beautiful eyes can also make the person go blind. We never know what the genes are linked to. Okay. But most of the people think that this is an insane idea, right? The idea of designing a baby. But
has it really happened? Has it really happened?
Yeah,
or is it just theory?
They tried, but government. They tried, but the government didn't approve on humans. Okay, and we are trying to do the similar thing with astrology, like trying to create a designer chart.
Okay.
As an astrologer, we shouldn't encourage such things. If we take what's the real motto of astrology, if we ask the question, it's only to use the science to know our karma and fulfill those duties and to spiritually elevate, right? Yeah, but not changing. It was never there. The astrology was not used to change the chart, design the chart. And if it's coming to karma, astrologers can never change karma of a child. Even if he goes to the astrologer or if he doesn't go to the astrologer, the same thing the same thing will happen. He will end up.
But if the person goes to an astrologer, the astrologer will give a time. So you're saying the time is already prefixed. Again, we are going back to you're with these people who said whatever is fixed, that only will happen. So the astrologer is just playing along with it.
Yeah, astrologer can never change a person's karma. Never.
No, not astrologer changing the karma. Astrologer is not really actually altering the time of birth. He's only going to give the time. Let's say the child is supposed to be born at 7:25 a.m. on a particular day, and then slowly the astrologer will calculate, and finally come to 7:25, and then say you get the child. You do the Cesarean around 7:25, and now you're saying that is the actual time of birth. So there is no fault at all doing it, right? Because the astrologer is not changing anything.
Yeah, even if that event has occurred, or even if astrologer didn't tell that it's 7:15, if the person has to be born at 9 or 10 a.m., even if he consult an astrologer, even if he doesn't consult an astrologer,
he's
going to be born at 10 a.m.
Okay, so you're saying that there is absolutely no problem in this, that you could go to an astrologer for choosing the time of birth.
But there is a problem. But this is kind of perversion, because this is not the astrology science is used for this. We shouldn't use this. It's like mean purpose.
It doesn't make any difference, right? It doesn't make
lottery.
No. It anyway doesn't make any difference.
It will make a difference.
No, because the child is supposed to be born.
It will make a difference on thinking.
The child is supposed to be born at 10:25 anyway, and the astrologer, according to you, cannot give any other time other than that. So what is the negative side of this at all, this exercise? There's nothing wrong, because he's just playing God's will.
No, it's like yeah, the astrologer having so much knowledge should educate the person, right? He shouldn't let him okay, you can go and you can go and choose whatever time you want. Oh, okay. What I mean to say is, having this knowledge, we shouldn't use for mean purposes like this.
Okay.
This is kind of using astrology for winning a lottery or gaining something, or yeah.
Okay. Is that a wrong practice if you use astrology for winning in lottery?
Yeah, it's completely wrong. It's completely wrong practice, and it will affect the astrologer. It will create bad karma on himself because he's trying to meddle with the God's laws.
But in the God's law anyway, he has to win a lottery, right? So the astrologer will only be playing along with that. Well, okay, what you're saying, I understand. What you're saying is astrologer, don't get into any of this. You quit your profession, go back to some other profession, let life go on, in the normal way. Okay, that's another viewpoint.
No, not like that. He should help him in difficult situations, but not changing the chart.
Why don't you say even there also, let him go through the suffering?
It's completely insane.
No, even there you can say, no, you can go through the suffering.
No,
because
we
that's
should
God's
help
will.
him at the time, and we should.
No, can't we say?
No, sir, we should help him at the time.
No, but okay. Once you have done, you can please lower your hand. Dr. Nirmala wants. She has another viewpoint about. She wants to add in something.
Hello.
Yes.
Is it Dhilip sir? Sorry. Can I talk?
Yeah. Please.
So I have, I think I understood what Avni was saying. So today, right, so many couples, they come directly to the doctors and say they don't even want to try for normal delivery because they just have a time set by the astrologer and they want to go directly to C-section.
Okay.
Because they want to avoid all those hassles. That is, I am talking about the couples who believe in karma and who are able to afford astrology and who are able to afford C-sections. And each C-section can cost from 50,000 to 3 lakh rupees, depending on the complexity. So it is a big business. So a lot of hospitals, they encourage that also because it's a normal delivery, you cannot make that much money. So then there becomes a question, who is creating this business? Is it the astrologer creating the C-section business, or is it the hospital and doctors who are encouraging this? So each one is blaming the other. The doctors will say, we are not asking the patients to do C-section. They are asking and we are just obliging. And the patients are saying, I want to do the right thing for my child. My astrologer said this time, so I am not going to wait for normal delivery. So then then this becomes, it is no longer helping. It is only creating a business. So that is what Avni is trying to say, I think.
No, now there are two aspects to this. But now we have a situation where Cesarean is the preferred choice over the normal delivery simply by the medical system because there is a lot more money in it. So in terms of how many people would even get into astrology, I think it will be a fraction when compared to why Cesarean happened, because it was the doctors who wanted it. Okay. And there will be a small share in this with a connection to the astrologer's demand. Okay, from the astrological point of view, because I've actually spoken to many people in my 30 years. I've seen it was Cesarean, but they never went to an astrologer for timing the birth of the baby. You understand? So there is another twist to this. So you have fewer cases where astrologers have actually got into this. Otherwise, also generally people, even without the doctors even recommending. I heard, when my wife was admitted in the hospital for delivering my son, the next room, there was a lady admitted also. And the doctors told, you're going to have a normal delivery. And she said, no, you're supposed to listen to me. You do Cesarean. And so what happened was, the father of this lady came down he came with a mantra. And said, if you recite this mantra, you will only have normal delivery. You have to tell it continuously, then you'll only have normal delivery. It be very smooth and without much problem. She said, go to hell. Okay. And so this guy was so much upset. He was walking around. I noticed him and I said, what's wrong? He told me the story. But that day, because my wife was also admitted there, the doctor told that you're going to have a cesarean to my wife. And so we hated the concept of cesarean. So I said, if you don't mind, can you give me that mantra? And I took that mantra, and he actually came, and he actually recited the mantra 2-3 times to my wife. And then my wife used to mantra chanting. She picked it up, and so she was chanting that continuously throughout the night. And the next day morning, when the doctor came, they said, your baby has come into a position where it is going to be a normal delivery. And my son was born out of a normal delivery. You understand? So you have lots of complex things in this. Like, it now looked to me that this guy flew down some 2,500 miles away just to give my wife the mantra. I think about this from that point of view. And this lady wanted only the cesarean. So we have a new modern culture where the patient feels that you cannot go through the labor pain, and they choose to go through the cesarean. Okay, but that is another point. But you are saying there's another way to look at this is the astrologer told that if you actually do the cesarean at this time, your baby will have this great advantage. And because of that, maybe perhaps the lady would have opted for a normal delivery, but now she says, no, I want to give this great advantage to my child, and therefore I will do cesarean only. You have anything to say in this?
No, sir. That is what a lot of obstetricians today are, conducting C-sections. And sometimes the doctors and hospitals are blamed, saying, oh, this doctor or this hospital always does C-sections because they want to, increase the bill. But we don't know what is the cause here. So, there could be multiple causes.
V.K. Varman, a student and a budding astrologer like our Vinod.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I think given the opportunity, if you are a believer in astrology, then everyone should go to an astrologer to fix an date and time for cesarean. Because when you are doing when you are fixing a muhurta for everything in life, from marriage to housewarming ceremony and everything, why not go to an astrologer for this? Whether if it happens on the same time and date, then that is it doesn't happen. That's a different thing altogether. But why not give it the best shot? So because at the end of the day, if the kid is born on the time or not, at the end of the day, every parent would want their child to have the best things in life, be it school or anything. But why not for this, give the best for their children as well in these terms?
So you're saying that anyway we are using astrology to fix our housewarming or fix our marriage. We are interfering a lot with our what we call as the so-called karma, and this just on the same lines. We are even selecting the time the cesarean should be done from the parents' point of view.
Especially if you're into astrology. See, if you're going into astrology already and believe in all this muhurta and all this stuff, then you should go full way. Then you can't say no for marriage and these things I'll do. For this thing I don't want to take a risk. So
okay, are we done? I think everybody had spoken. Maybe Pankaj is waiting. Okay, Pankaj, have you done?
No, sir. So this is not Pankaj. This is Rupa. The name is my husband's name.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So, sir, my astrological knowledge is too small to comment on whether it is ethical, for which we are debating, I suppose. But so far my knowledge goes, we are following Maharshi Parasara, and he himself had a destined, designer child or whatever you say, because so far I know Vedyas was not born just like that. It was Maharshi Parashara when saw that the nakshatra and planetary combination, and that is how he was born. And we all are following Maharshi Parashara. So, of course, we are not as great as him. Nowhere near him. But if we are follower of him, then why should it be unethical when he himself did that? Is my
yeah,
point.
but in this case, it was not the actual timing of the birth of Veda Vyas, but it was about the conception. It was a conception time, and the conception time has a interlink with the actual, the later on what's going to happen, the birth of a child. There is an interconnection. So he saw that and he used it. But what you're now saying is he used astrological knowledge to do something about it, right? So, and then we have an extraordinary Veda Vyas being born. I think his wife, I mean, he selected somebody from the fisher, the community of fisherwomen, right? And in spite of that, we have this great Veda Vyas.
Otherwise, we would have, we won't have Vedas.
We have, okay, but you have quoted from the highest source, I think. So first of all, congratulations for coming up with this point. So if all this is true, then why not take charge of we can change a lot of things. For example, Maharishi Parashara says if a person born with Kujadosha marries a person with Kujadosha, there is no problem. But if he marries a person not having Kujadosha, there is problem. So it looks like he's asking everybody use this knowledge and change your life. Okay.
Yes.
So it looks like that. So he's been always on that side on how you can change your karma. Okay.
And sir, one more thing, as you said about conception, so that is also debatable. I mean, not today, but whether conception is the right time or the delivery of the child or the first cry or whatever. This is also one debatable thing.
No, the conception has a direct connection with it's like a projection. So if it happens here, it will happen there. That's an interlink. So in a way, once you start here, it ends here. You understand? So it's like reverse engineering. You go back there and say, this is where it started. So it's not
sir, I just want to give some inputs in this regard, sir. So, I mean, the Garbhadana Samskara, which deals
Who is
with...
speaking? Wait a minute.
So, this is Avinash, sir. Avinash.
Oh, Avinash. Okay.
Sir,
yes,
Garbhadana Samskara, sir, it is a scripture which deals primarily with the conception time, sir. And also, I just want to add that there are many astrological calculations and rules during the conception than what we are talking about this time of birth and so on.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I just want to add that, yeah.
Good point.
Okay, can I speak?
1 minute in support of Avinash. The system says that on Shivaratri, you should not unite to create a child. And even on Amavasya. Okay, and Shivaratri is very poisonous because it is what is called Krishna Paksha Chaturdasi. Somebody mentioned KPC. Maybe for those of you who do not know what KPC is, it is Krishna Paksha Chaturdasi, an extremely poisonous time to be born in. So they were trying to say that if you are conceived in Krishna Paksha Chaturdasi, you might actually take birth in Krishna Paksha Chaturdasi. So sexual union is banned on Amavasya with respect to a possible child birth later on. Yeah.
Hello, sir. This is Abni, and I just had a question. So, why do we even want to alter the path of the child's life? Because the whole point of the child to be born here is to go through all his karmas, burn all the karmas, and then maybe lead himself or herself to the path of moksha. So, why do we even want to change the trajectory of his karma?
Okay, so you're saying it's better not meddle around with the horoscope.
I don't know whether to do it or not, but I have a nephew for whom we consulted an astrologer who is also a family friend, whose own child was born through he did all the muhurtas and he picked out everything.
Elective cesarean.
Yes. And so we asked, when my sister was hospitalized, we asked him, and he gave us a couple of timings. Of course, it didn't work out for her like the way it did for him. So she gave birth to a child just last year. And actually, that's the day when I started looking up all things astrology. And that's the day my Saturn Antardasha started. So in my Rahu Mahadasha. So But basically, what I'm saying is, from whatever I know so far about astrology, I did look at his chart, and it looks like he's going to have some trouble, but he's probably also going to be very spiritual. So why would I, want to pick something that gives him, let's say, a better, smoother life over, something that is that gives him experiences that could lead to profound spiritual experiences.
Definitely, we will consider this. Okay, now I think we can move on to the free-for-all discussion. Keep it less noisy. Like when you feel that there's a lot of noise in your place, you please mute as quickly as possible. Okay. So now this is open discussion. Anybody can talk. So I'll give you a background. Suppose I say from a doctor's standpoint, somebody, a doctor knows karma theory also. Think like that. And so there is he or she believes in there is a destiny for a person, that this person has to go through this. This is God's will. And the person goes through cancer. So the patient comes to them and the doctor should say, this is your karma, please go and die. Or will the person give some treatment? You can unmute and talk.
No, we still give the treatment, sir.
At that point, can we say it's anyway, this is your fate?
No, we still try our best to do something.
Okay. So when a doctor does that, is the doctor playing God?
That is his kartavyam, sir. That is his kartavyam, sir. Job.
No. That's not the question. The question is whether the person is playing God. Let's say God is on the top. He's looking at all of us.
Not. He's not playing God at all.
So what is it God's will that the doctor treats this patient?
We can do as much as we can according to our medical knowledge.
Now, please try to answer the direct question. The direct question is God is up watching, and he says, I actually want this person to die.
God is bigger than us. He will definitely get it done.
Yes.
Because according to the oaths that we doctors have taken, we're not supposed to do, or like even pull the plug. According to consent only, we can even do that. It's not our choice.
Not the doctor only, the concerned people and the doctor, they generally have to fight it out till the last.
Okay. We'll always try to fight it out. Yeah, we can't leave it, right? You can't, I remember a client coming to me and while I was doing this consultation, I said, in the next 2-3 years, you got to do a lot of donations because you are in for lots of loss of wealth. The money is going to go out anyway. So why don't you go up front and start donating? He said, that's the last thing I will do. And when I asked him the reason, he said, just think about it, sir. The beggar was destined to be there. That was God's plan and God's will. I, just a human being, do you want me to play against God's will? Let him suffer. So I didn't know how to answer. I was just staring at his face. So he thought I've been impressed with his idea. And he said, sir, I think you're convinced, right? And I didn't know what to say. In the next 2-3 years, he went upside down in his financial matters. And that's from astrology point of view.
Sir, I have to answer.
I'm sure he understood.
Go ahead, Vinod. I'll go next.
See, now, before you speak, the point actually is, first of all, we need to understand that there is a karma, and in the first place, even is God interfering with it? How many of you feel that God is interfering with karma?
So God gave us the knowledge to do C-sections, sir.
Huh?
God gave us the medical advancement for us to be able to perform C-sections in the first place. You can argue that even a C-section is against the natural order of things by that line of thought.
Okay.
No, I think.
What about in those days? In my grandmother's days, I think, or up to my maybe up to my grandmother's days, or maybe even now, I don't know how it is. In a natural birth, they say it's when the mother survives, they'll say it is her next life. She's born again. Okay, there's always a 50-50 chance that they could die during pregnancy. So during delivery, sorry. Can we look at it from another point of view and say that doctors are actually helping people with cesarean?
True.
Cesareans do feel like
whatever is happening today, the population explosion has got a lot to do with these things. Otherwise, it would have been contained in the natural order, right? Now it's gone to, I don't know, now it thinks close to 8 billion people are there in this world. And the credit goes only, according to me, due to the medical advancement, and also parallel to that, the advancement in agriculture and all this, the inputs, like we got resources and everything. So it's now we are all over the earth, unlike other creatures. And of course, we are the apex predator, but still, it looks like it's almost like we are running the show. How many of you still believe that God is still interfering with us?
Yeah, that's what is the real essence of astrology? Why Parasharas and many Munis gave the astrology knowledge to us? Like essence of it.
It is mainly because with this you could change your fate. That's the only thing, nothing else.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There is no permanent fate, or there is no permanent God's will here. We are creating our karma, and only we can undo certain things that we have done in the past. And please do not bring in God and say that God is responsible. If somebody murders another person, you can't say God is. It's a God's will which is happening here. When Hitler killed all those people, 6 million Jews, executed civilians, 6 million civilians, you can't say that is God's will. It is a will of Hitler and his army that acted there. Okay.
There is something called as samashti karma, sir.
Cumulative karma. Cumulative karma.
So it is not specific to a person, but it also happens at a specific place of, where people dying in bulk, like in an aeroplane accident or something. So that karma also takes place. It's not an individual person's karma also, active.
Okay. Now, why did I start this was, suppose without astrology, a doctor says, you be ready, you keep the hospital, the room ready for this. I'm coming at 3:45. We are going to do it at 3:45. He will calculate the traffic and all of that. And now if I freeze this particular frame and say the doctor decided on the fate of the child, is that true or not? Just one answer from everybody.
Yes, sir.
That's true.
So he has taken the law into his own hands. He has changed the karma of the baby.
Yeah.
He's a
No.
The doctor, yes, he has.
No, he has changed the karma of the baby.
Each time we do that, we're interfering with karma. Maybe we will resolve it in another lifetime or some other way, but each time we go in, we are definitely interfering with karma.
If we can really interfere with karma, are we agreeing that we are greater than karma itself? Or we are greater than God's will?
No, we are not. Maybe,
Why? See, there is something
Yes.
called the destiny, right? And then you are able to change that big thing called destiny. And so you must be extremely powerful, right? Or are you saying that the doctor also played along with that person's karma? The child was to be born at that time. Wouldn't it make it very easy to understand this by simply saying he was just playing along with it?
Yes, sir. That is the right answer.
The entire karma is working in such a way that everything falls into place. 10 months before, the couple united to produce this child. So everything is only human intervention all the time. I can say this child was created not by God, but by these two people. So whose karma, who's creating? The child has his own karma, and the child will take birth only at that particular time. What about a possibility that another child was born in the time of Narendra Modi? You try search for it, you will never find it in your lifetime. You will never find one more horoscope of Rajinikanth, because at the top and the pyramid, there is only small space. Fewer people will be born in this particular time. And the ordinary horoscopes, they will be like the base of the pyramid, which is very wide. You will find hundreds and hundreds of people taking birth. But statistics will, have us believe that they will divide like this. 10 years, the population grew up like this. So in India right now, I think it is standing at 6 people die every day, every minute. And 9 are born or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I made a mistake in some numbers here. But this is how it is. Okay. So you will think that at every point in time, hundreds and hundreds of children are being born. No, if it is a special horoscope, it will be vacant. Nobody will take birth there. Only one person will take birth. And then the number which has to be born, they will take birth in another time when the horoscope is such an ordinary horoscope, not so doing well. All of them will jump into that time period.
Right.
Okay, so we have to understand, if Sri Krishna says, whenever adharma rises, I will be born again and again, it is actually not that there is a fixed time that the adharma will rise. It happens only because of human beings, and human beings are exactly very powerful. They can do whatever they want. They can do many things. But it is not necessarily the will of God. The will of God is all of you should be happy, all of you should have good karma, and that is the real will. And when we do the wrong things, that is not the will of God.
Sir, fate is already there, sir. It is clearly described in scriptures. Karma, prarabdha is clearly destined. If that was the fate was not there, sir, why if some person should be born as a very in affluent family and some person should be born as a very non-affluent family? I mean, the fate is clearly there. No one can deny it. I mean, if they deny it, they have to back up with something, right?
No, the entire argument is that there is this fate for the baby and nobody is actually altering it. The astrologer is just going along with that fate, and he is going to tell the time that the child is supposed to be born. That is the argument.
Exactly. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. I agree with that.
Yeah. So now the point is, how will you ever come to know whether that is a time? Take this example where I gave so many times I attempted it, and the child was born before because the sac broke, or something happened. There was pain, labor pain, and all this. And then the doctor said, no, we are not going to listen to you. The mother is in danger. The child is in danger. We are going to operate. We are going to go ahead. Okay. So if all this, the complex nature, if you look at it, if I say the child is not born at that time, even though I did give it, I will now argue that the child was actually supposed to be born only at that time. And so I could not actually change it because I attempted, it didn't work. So when you say in every other field, human beings can interfere with life, why not an astrologer? It looks like he's interfering. Human beings are actually creating new karma. They're modifying karma. The past life karma is clinging on, and then the future is changing. And like V.K. Varman said, we are using, simple rules. There are many layers to this. I don't want Rahugalam birth. I don't want Yamagandam birth. This is actually a mistake, because Rahugalam and Yamagandam was not part of Indian astrology in terms of horoscope. But nobody is willing to, even doctors have memorized Rahugalam and Yamagandam. Okay, so they'll say, why do you want to do it in Rahugalam? The client will say, oh, is it Rahugalam? Yeah, it is Rahugalam. So we'll do it some other time. At every time there is, these things are happening, which means every time we are interfering. And all of this is, you in those cases, you take it as natural. You say, I mean, nothing. But when an astrologer does it, you suddenly get confused. Is he changing fate? Has he taken the law into his own hands? Etc. But the worst part of this is, in later on, when the child grows and he or she goes through trouble, they'll say, why did you choose this time? That's why I'm going through this trouble. So at that level, it becomes philosophy. Better not do this. That's a different thing, because you are now, you have to own up, right? You're the one who actually did it. So you could easily be blamed. Otherwise, none of us got anybody to blame. So the only person is up above. God, why did you make me like this? What have I done? Because then you leave it there. So ultimately, you are going to say somebody did this to me. So now all of you can join in this discussion. This is just the background I gave.
Sir, I wanted to answer one of your question earlier, where you asked whether, if the astrologer finds a person having disease, will he try to,
not astrologer,
do
doctor.
a treatment? The doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you, sir, in olden days, medicine and astrology went hand by hand.
Okay.
And if the astrologer finds if a disease is based on his karma, actually there will be no medicines given in the olden days, sir. This I have, heard it from a very, genuine person.
Okay.
Yes. Where they told if it is a disease based on the karma, they will not even provide medicines for the person. And even if he tries, they will not get the particular herb. There'll be a herb or something, right, which is needed to make the medicine. He will not get that at that point of time. This is how it works, it seems. So,
okay. The medicine won't be available. Unlike today, we have everything available in the pharmacies. Okay.
It will not be available, it seems. So it is going hand by hand. And every event, there is something called as chaos theory, where one event is actually the cause for the other event. So, as you told, the conception of the child, right? It is leading to we had something called a Shanti Muhurta in the past, but now we are actually not following it. So there is a lot of aspects, it is actually, we think that we are the one who is deciding, but actually, as you said, it is just, we are going along with the fate of the, whoever person it is, and we are just, playing a role in his fate, but we are not part of his fate.
We are not altering his fate. Okay. Let's reword
exactly.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Sir, in other words, you said out of 50 people, you were successful for only 2 people, no, sir? Three. Okay. So my contention would be that even if those 3 had not come to you for consultation, maybe those 3 babies would have born at that time only.
Yeah, that is my way of looking at it, because how else would I have explained extraordinary people not able to perform this at the time that I gave them?
Yeah, and one more theory is that, this is probably my beginner's luck. A few months before, one of my very close family friends, he told me that since he knew that I know a little bit of astrology, he said, why don't you fix a muhurta for the C-section? Okay, so that was the time when I was reading K.N. Rao's Planets and Children book very rigorously. So I wanted to apply whatever is mentioned in the book, and it is a beautiful book. And in that, K.N. Rao's research clearly says that at the time of birth of the child, the transit moon should aspect the natal 5th house, 5th lord, or the natal 5th house, 5th lord, 9th house, 9th lord of both the parents. So which means that the son or the daughter's moon should establish a connection with father's 5th house or 5th lord, or 9th house or 9th lord, either by conjunction or by aspect. Okay. So it is not only for the mother, but it should satisfy for both the father and mother. So he has done a research on several thousands of horoscopes and proved in his book that this is something that amazes even gynecologists, that every child's moon will establish a connection with the father's 5th house, 5th lord, or 9th house, 9th lord. And this condition will satisfy for both the father and mother. Otherwise, he says that this child was not even born to this couple. Okay, so he has done that amount of research. So this person who came to me, he said, I have another family astrologer who has given the date as, April 6th. Okay. Then I said, I am just a beginner. I don't know the concept of Muhurta thoroughly and all, but with whatever little knowledge I have, I'll try to, find out the date on which the Cesarean can happen. So I didn't go by the Muhurta concepts and all. Of course, it could have been even beginner's luck. So I just went through what was given in the concepts in the book. And then I looked at both the father's and mother's horoscope. And fortunately, like on April 1st, the transit moon was establishing a connection with 5th house, 5th lord, 9th house, 9th lord of both the parents. That condition satisfied only on April 1st. And on April 6th, when the astrologer had given that muhurta, that condition was not there. So I ruled out that possibility. And I said, after like working for 1 hour, I said April 1st. Then again, he went back to his family astrologer and he said, he verified and he came back to me and said, no, he's telling April 6th only. Then I said, okay, maybe that is correct. I don't know. With whatever limited knowledge, I am not even giving you a muhurta. I am saying that's when it will happen. April 1st only the child will be born, I said. Of course, I had my own...
But on the date, you have several ascendants, right? Lagnas, 12 lagnas. So is there an astrologer's role about fixing the lagna? Or is it only about the date?
Yeah, I mean, that's also there, sir. But some people, a month before or 2 weeks before, they also ask like, which day. The doctors have told that in the first week of April, they have asked us to choose a date. So they start even from that point. It is not that they tell the date that on April 20th, we have to fix the lagna. So that is another issue altogether. I agree. But even people go to the extent of saying in the first week of April, give me a date. In that case, we are not even playing a role here in the lagna, but even on the moon sign, there is some amount of discretion, right? When we fix the muhurta. So I told this person that, I'm not fixing a muhurta, but I just went by whatever I studied and I feel that the child will be born only on April 1st. You can fix whatever muhurta you want, but K.N. Rao's theory says April 1st. Okay, I had my own fear. I thought maybe I'll fail, I'll get a bulb and all. But and I tried this for 5 times. It worked 2 times, and exactly on April 1st the child was born. So this is I still consider this as beginner's luck. But my point here is even this research applies very well, right? So maybe we can see how many planets are there in the 6th, 8th, 12th house. All the lagna should be clean. All that we can see. But if we don't take the fathers and mothers, 5th house, 9th house, their horoscopes into factor, and if moon does not establish a connection, even though you give a good muhurta, still the child will not be born on that day as per Kendra's theory.
Okay. This is very interesting. Okay, you brought in a fresh set of viewpoints, trying to link it up with how much ever we try, there will be an interlink. There will also be a cross connection between Lagna and the moon factors, actually. Okay, there will be some cross connections. There will always be some Samasaptama connection and also moon Lagna connection. Just for example, my daughter's Lagna is straight opposite to my Lagna. Okay, 1/7 axis. Then take another example where my moon sign is my son's ascendant, and my son's moon sign is my wife's ascendant. So it'll always be interlinked.
Sir, if the parents deserve a child with a specific karma, I mean, if the karma of the parents is fixed, I think that karma of the child is somewhat also should be fixed, right?
Okay.
They are interlinked.
Yeah,
you can't expect a gifted soul or we shouldn't have even too much expectations, I think.
Yeah, it won't match.
I mean,
but
when you cannot do too much.
Yeah, when you give the work to an astrologer, he will try to find an ideal thing, but that's only from his point of view. Whereas what you're saying is anyway for these two, this couple, father and mother, only this type of children could be born. So this type of horoscope only can be born. So even if an astrologer tells another time, which is not actually what was supposed to be the child's birth time, automatically it won't happen. That's what you're saying. There will be an interlink. Yes.
Yeah. If someone is, they are interlinked, right, sir? Yeah.
Anybody wants to conclude?
Sir, it was a great opportunity for us, to have this debate, and we would like to see, a lot more debates like this, sir. So, it gives a lot of very different perspectives, like, everybody's positives, negatives, and, different kind of views. So we'll probably, we'll take it as a, habit to take on a topic and do a discussion like this in the future, sir.
I have concluded it like this, so I'm not sure if everybody has the same viewpoint. I'm saying if a pilot crashes his plane, I would say that he has changed everybody's fate. No, he's playing along. Okay. Same way an astrologer fixes the time of birth, he's still playing along. He is no different from other human beings. Otherwise, you'll have to accept that astrologer is superior, creature on this earth. That he alone has the capacity to change someone's future.
If someone comes to us for fixing a muhurta for cesarean, can we upfront tell the person that yes, I would do whatever I can with the knowledge that I have, but
exactly
things will happen only when it happens.
Yes, there's no guarantee that it will be happening at the time that we said. There could be some complications or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is the best thing that we could.
Want to, yeah. So we just want to go with your sense of belief and trust.
Yeah.
But we'll just try, and it'll happen only when it has to happen.
Yeah, and even extension to this idea, you can say, see, whatever I do with the horoscope, certain things are beyond my control. Let's say, for example, right now Jupiter is debilitated, or something. There is a group of planets in Capricorn, and I don't know. There's a conjunction and all that. Conjunctions are very tricky. So, like this, you should warn them, because if you look at the entire horoscope at one shot, you will say, okay, this is an advantage, but that is a disadvantage. You should mentally prepare them for that. They should not be led to believe that, okay, you timed the birth of the child, and so everything is going to be a grand, a bed of roses. It's impossible. Whatever happened to Lord Rama, the avatars of Vishnu. So once you take birth in the earth plane, you're bound to go through problems. It's like you got into this game, you must be ready for all the problems of the game. So there's no ideal situation, but we have an attempt. Like, can we make it better? Are we going to just try? And in any case, according to me, what do you think is the percentage of those who go to astrologists in the first place in the world?
It's very less compared to the number of people who choose to take a cesarean.
It must be very.
0.5%.
It must be very.
Minuscule.
You have no idea. 8 billion people. It will be a fraction. Please believe it or not. Just look at you just look at the number of views for astrology videos. Look up the number of views for a dance in which a lady dances. Okay, video. It will be in millions and millions, and then look at astrology. It will be very small number. Okay, so don't
Very
get confused. Yeah, it will be a very small fraction. And so the world is running by itself, even without astrology and astrologers. The world is separately running by itself. There is a very big thing happening here. Our individual karmas are playing itself out. And for those who have this knowledge, they try to use it. This is a better time than that. Okay.
So my view is the astrologer can find the right time for the baby, but also there is a parent's karma which the baby will go through, right?
Yeah, that's what we are saying. So actually, if you say the astrologer is changing the person's fate, he is definitely as great as a god.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we say right time, first of all, we have to define the definition of what is right. What is right for one cannot be. So if we unanimously define that, okay, right time means good longevity for mother and child.
See, it is about like a trade-off. You get this, you lose something else somewhere in the horoscope. It will never be, you can't just experiment. Forget, you giving time for a childbirth. You just have an empty chart and try to fill up some planets randomly, put the lagna and try and see what you get. You will never be able to get to an ideal horoscope, whatever you may try.
Correct.
Okay, if you have 5 planets exalted also, I'm saying nothing big, because the lagna was not in the proper place. And then when powerful planets aspect each other, it is war. It's so strong, so much of negativity. It's not so simple as we think it is. So first, acceptance that an astrologer cannot actually change fate to that extent that there is a complete twist. He has to play along. Within this, there is some orb. You can make it slightly better this way, that way, and that's it. It stops there. It is always that human beings want to help each other out, and with whatever knowledge they have, they can't keep quiet with it. They will interfere. If you cough next to a doctor, the doctor is not going to keep quiet. They're going to tell you, this is the medicine. Why don't you take this? Okay. So like that, when astrologer knows something, he will not keep quiet. He will say, what's your, there is this Amavasya coming. So trying to prevent the birth of the child during Amavasya.
So, but then the question is, how many people will listen to such astrologers?
No, that's what we have discussed. How many will listen, or how many will be permitted to listen? In this context, we are concluding that the doctor is no god, and he is not going to change anybody's fate at a kaleidoscopic level. He is only permitted to make alterations, like how you alter an existing building. To some extent, you can do something about it.
Sir, this is Divya here. I joined in really late, and I just have one question, sir.
Yeah, but were you following? When did you join?
I probably 40 minutes back, but this is related to karma only. I just, got stuck with one word that you've just mentioned. Karma is predefined, right? I, as an individual, I can go through my own karma. Say, for an example, I have done something in my previous birth. Yes, I can go through that karma in the current birth, until I attain to the form where I don't take any more births. But what is this, Pitru Sabam, this Munur Sabam, this ancestor karma and all, how it is, coming into picture, sir? Because I have visited one of the big astrologer, and he said me that, you have the Pitru Sabam, and, you will have to visit so-and-so temples. I don't know how that is connected with my karma. I'm sorry if I'm deviating from the topic, but this is something, I wanted to understand.
Yeah, we will definitely take it up in a next next debate like this. We will be holding maybe once in a month. We'll hold something like this. But right now, I think we'll stick to the topic. And it was wonderful having all of you with us. And it was just definitely a healthy discussion. I gave you all the chance to speak. But even after this video is uploaded, if you missed out some points, please. Do not, forget to voice your opinion. You can make comments. You can add to whatever you said. Maybe you want to add more clarity to what you have said.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Wonderful session.
Thank you, sir.
Pardon me?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all of you. Avinash, thank you. Whatever names I remember, only I'm saying, not that I had somebody, dear to me or something.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rupali.
Thanks a lot, sir, for organizing and letting us join.
Manoj, you had played a great role in this. Some of my students helped me set this up. because basically I'm I can say I'm a lazy person, so which is why I make few videos all the
Yeah, Manoj has suddenly pulled in a lot of people, I believe.
Yeah.
Now it has become a very big group.
Yeah, okay. I mean, he's an expert
Thank
on
you, sir.
temples. He's an expert on temples. And thank you.
Nothing.
And thank you, Manoj. We are hoping for another session, the debate on the ancestor karma. Please, thank you.
Yeah, definitely we'll take it. Okay. Yeah.
Bye, sir. Good night.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for their sharings.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section. And whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.